Hey guys, Lord here, back with another action figure review, and today we'll be taking a look at the DC Premier Edition Amazon exclusive, Batman and Nightwing versus Bane 3-pack, brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel. And in case you didn't know by now, yes, they have the DC license back from McFarlane. Boo-hoo, I know. That said, we have a lot to talk about here, because not for nothing, I wasn't going to get into this line, but this popped up on Amazon the other day as of the time I'm recording this, and well, I told myself if I could snag this 3-pack I would, and I did. And for the low price of $32.99, you really can't do wrong here. I mean, a collector edition from McFarlane is pushing $37, and you get way less in the box with one of those than you do with these. So, you do the math. But with that being said, why don't we cut right to the chase and get into the meat and taters of this review and take a look-see at all Batman and Nightwing have to offer in terms of accessories, because Bane got nothing. Starting off with Batman's soccer boppers, so he can punch the crap out of Bane. Anyone remember soccer boppers? I'm sure all you 2000s kids do. They're basically boxing gloves for kids that would not inflict head concussions. That said, where's the fun in that? Either way, what you do with these is you can pop them apart like this. And what I like to do is I like to take our Batman here. I like to, wrong side, pop the bottom on first. You kind of gotta weave his little fin dangles in there. Also gotta turn his hand, dummy. You weave his fins in there, you turn his hand like that, and then you take the top and you snap it on like so, and he's ready to rock. Rock'em sock, Bane right in the kisser. But that is how that works. They come on little sprues that you gotta pop off. And I will tell you, between the sprues for these and blockies, which are the only other sprues I've messed with recently, I like the blockies ones more. They feel a little gummier. There's less little, knick-knicks from when you clip them off. I don't know, it's just smoother taking the stuff off. That said, this was fine, but be careful, one of the little fins on the gauntlet is attached to the sprue. You don't want to mess that up. But cool little accessories there. Nothing too crazy. And then Nightwing comes with his Eskrima sticks, or his Blanca Beta sticks. What goes in the blank, you might ask, is something that starts with N-I and ends with A and causes a lot of problems. Ninja. What'd you think I was going to say? Get your mind out of the gutter, people. It does have two little tabs on the back, so if we take our Nightwing figure here, you can plug these onto his belt, like so. Now his sticks did not come on a sprue. Those were just loose in the box. But there you go. You get two of those. They clip right onto the belt. I would have preferred if they utilized this peg hole up here and put something up here for the sticks to peg into, but that's just me. I'm used to them being up there. What can I say? That said, why don't we take a look at the Dark Knight? And quickly go over articulation, because it's a kids line. It's meant to be basic. So there's not a lot, but there's more than you might think. He does have a double ball pig in the head, so you can get all kinds of range out of that. And the heads are easily removable. And to my understanding, a similar peg size to DC Multiverse. So if you're into that sort of thing, you can do that. Shoulders will pop up about that high, back down. It will rotate full 360. The cloth cape gets out of the way. He's got a single jointed elbow with rotation, swivel hinge wrists, hinge in and out. He's got a waist cut. His hips will kick out to the side, back down, forward, back, thigh cut, double jointed knees. Now I will say some of these joints are a little loose and some of them are a little gummy. The boot cuts in particular are pretty gummy on these guys. You can turn them, but you're not going to get a lot due to that shin pad, shin guard. And I should also mention that Batman does also have the peg hole on the back and the little clips for weapons back here as well. This one looks a little longer. I don't know what's going on with that, but oh, that's what's going on with that. His belt's crooked. You demi. But he does have a couple of spots back here for weapons, if you want to put any back there. That said, his cape also has a hole in it, so you can plug something back there. I will say, you do have to get some tape gunk off this cape. Luckily, I only had it on the one side. This side was pretty clean. But, yeah. Not too shabby with the Batman. It's a blue and gray Batman. I prefer black and gray, but no yellow oval. And it's very Nightfall-ish, despite the fact that he has the Arkham armored padding thing going on. That said, looking at Nightwing, he is just a bodysuit. He has no added padding, no armor, no nothing. I guess they're going to make a Nightwing with armor and stuff, but that's going to come out at a later date. That said, my Nightwing at least had a big old chunk of schmutz on the back of his leg that I had to cut off with my knife. You can probably see the remnants of it still. I used my nail file to get some of the excess gunk off, but it's still there a little bit. And then he also had a little bit on his boot. Now, I get that this is a kid's line and these are going to be recycled bodies, but Wave 1, having those issues, it's not a good look. Also, his head is a little bit on the loose side. I managed to tighten mine up a bit just by rotating the peg in there, but something to note. Other than that, the articulation is the same as Batman, although his joints are a little bit on the looser side, with the exception of that knee. And his boots aren't quite as gummy, but again, bodysuit, you don't have a lot of stuff in the way. But, you know, just some things to note. And now we have the reason most people are going to buy this pack, I imagine. And that is the Bane, who is a big chunky monkey. He's also very light. His upper legs are ABS, whereas his bottom legs are PVC. So you ain't going to be tightening no knee joints or hip joints unless you use some kind of adhesive that you will have to pour in there. I don't want to do that, but I will tell you, if I move this arm out, his hips are pretty decent, but his upper knees suck. These are loose as heck. And again, not great for the first wave to be having that. Also, he has some crap going on the back of his knee joints. I cleaned mine up the best I could, but I don't want to wreck anything. There's like a big old chunk of crap right here that I want to get rid of, but don't think I can without damaging the figure. So that sucks. I'm not a fan of that, you know. I'm also not a fan of the loose joints on him either, because not for nothing. Oh boy. Trying to get his arms down is kind of a chore. This elbow, at least on mine, is loose, and because of this tube here, it doesn't pose for crap. It just kind of straightens back out. It's pretty bad. I mean, I can crunch it up, but yeah, it doesn't stay. And this tube is not coming off the arm. It'll unplug from the back of his head, but it's stuck on his arm. I cannot get this thing off. I used a hairdryer and everything. I could pop the lower arm out, and I can attempt to fix it, but then I gotta try and get it back in. It's just... Sorry, there's a fly in here that's bugging me. Get it? Haha. But that's so stupid. Why is the tube A so thick and B like not removable from the bicep? I would think it would have been like a bicep strap piece that slid over the arm. That way they could reuse the arm later. Because these are really good arm sculpts, and not for nothing, they painted the shirt on, which I'm not a fan of that either, but you know, it's clean. It's not bad. But you know, if you're gonna sculpt pants, sculpt the band onto his arm. Why is the shirt painted? That makes no sense to me. I'm guessing they're probably gonna use this torso for a dark side later on, but don't hold me to that. But as far as Bane's articulation goes, he's got a straight up disc hinge in the head. You can tilt it a little bit, but it's mostly just a hinge. And then you can rotate it as well. He's got the peg hole on the back for, I don't know, rocket launchers. Shoulders go out, back down. Single jointed elbow with rotation. This side is tight. This side sucks. Swivel hinge wrists. And yes, he can do like the tough guy pose. And because this hand is a nice tight grip on this hand, you don't exactly have to worry about the, well, there you go. I guess you could do that. But now it just kind of looks like he's going to punch himself in the face. It's not like there isn't a ratchet in there. It's just not enough. But if you put him in the tough guy pose, it will stay. Alright. And you can actually pop this hand out. So it would have been nice to get some alt hands maybe for this guy. Again, I know it's a kid's line, but I have to mention it. Because, you know, Batman's got soccer boppers and Nightwing's got little sticks. I think they could have given Bane some alt hands. He's got a waist twist. His belt is a separate piece. So I'm assuming these pants could be used on a Doomsday at some point, and they could just give him his little silver belt there. His hips will kick forward and back. He'll kick out, back down. Double jointed knee. And a boot cut. Now his boot cuts are pretty gummy as well. But I would say of the three, and this one's barely gummy at all, so there's that, I guess. But I would say of the three, Batman's got the gummiest of the boot cuts. Bane second, Nightwing third. But, you know, for the price, I think it could do a lot worse than this. Is it perfect? No. Is it supposed to be? Kinda, no, but, you know. It's a kid-oriented line. I'm gonna reiterate that. A kid-oriented line. It's not made for adults, although I don't know a whole lot of kids getting these because all the adults are hogging them. You know who you are. But I like this line. I think it's fun. I think it has potential. You know, the Comic-Con reveals were nothing special, but I am looking forward to Mattel. That's one of my favorite Superman villains. And I wouldn't mind picking up some more of these that are out right now, like the Joker, or the Robin with the Bike, the Killer Croc, the Man-Bat, Clayface, Mr. Freeze. There's plenty out there that I would like to check out. It's just a matter of, am I going to be able to get them easily, or are they going to be a pain in the arse? Because if they're going to be a pain in the arse, then I'm out. But for now, I'm happy with this. If this is all I get from this line, it's a pretty good set. That said, before we wrap this up, why don't we bring in our two regulars, the Mythic Legion's Brother Mandibilith, and I'll actually move Batman in here, and Nightwing. I'll move both of them in because, God knows, Ain't nothing gonna fit in the frame here. There you go. There's Brother Mandibilith, and then we have the infamous. You know him, you love him. Okay, 11 Spawn, who is about neck and neck with old Bane here. So again, a decent sized figure, especially for the price. So with that being said, it's time now that we wrap things up with some final thoughts. Overall, and despite my critiques and or criticisms I have towards this new line of, I'm going to say it again, kid-oriented figures brought to us by the fine folks over at Mattel, I'm going to say that the DC license, as far as this sort of thing goes, emphasis on this sort of thing, is in good hands. I think they will do great things for this line. As far as the collector stuff goes, I'm going to hold my judgment until I have some of those in hand, so I can give you my 2 cents on all that. So with that being said, hope you guys enjoyed this review. Until next time, I'll catch you guys later.